Hey there, welcome back to Marketing Matchmaker, the podcast for service-based entrepreneurs who are tired of the hustle for hustle's sake and finally ready to build a business that works for them, not the other way around. If we haven't met yet, I'm Jennifer Tamborski. I'm your marketing strategist, coach, and no fluff, get it done guide to systems, strategies, and sustainable income. And today I want to get real, because we're about to dive into one of the biggest lies that has been sold to so many smart, capable, hardworking business owners, probably a lot like you. That is the statement, I just need more leads. If you've ever thought that, or maybe said it in the morning while scrolling through Instagram, trying to figure out why no one's booking your services, I see you. In fact, I've been you. And I want to offer you this truth in a friendly yet very serious way. More leads is not the magic solution you've been sold. I know, coming from the lead generation queen over here, that's a hard statement to hear. And yet it's the truth. If you have been hanging your hat on this strategy of just getting more people in the door, it's probably the reason you're still stuck, underpaid, and maybe even quietly wondering if this whole thing is even worth it. Let me unpack exactly what I mean by that. A lot of businesses out there do a very similar path when things get quiet. You panic, you rework your freebie again or your social media content. You throw out a couple of reels, you join some Facebook groups, maybe even you start Googling how to get high ticket leads fast. And hey, sometimes sure, that gets a few people in the door. But here's the problem. You're trying to fix a leaky bucket. Imagine, if you will, for a minute, pouring water, AKA those leads, into a bucket, AKA your business. And the bucket has a giant hole at the bottom of it. No matter how much you pour in, it won't fill up. Here's what that leak often looks like in real business terms. Your message is muddy. People don't know who you are, what you do, who you serve. Your offer might be hard to say yes to. It's not that it's hard. It's not even that it's a bad offer. It's that maybe it's not positioned right, or maybe your audience isn't the people that actually need that offer. And your sales process often feels awkward for you and them. So what ends up happening is you get leads, but they ghost you, or they book a call and they never disappear, or worse, they say, I'll think about it and never follow up, or even worse, they book a call and you get on the call and you waste your time on the call because they are not the right people in the first place. Honestly, that's not a lead issue. And it's not even necessarily a conversion issue. Most often it is you are attracting the wrong people. So trying to solve it by getting even more of the wrong people in the door is like turning up the volume on a song that's out of tune, or worse, one that's just stuck in your head and you can't get rid of. It just makes everything louder, and it makes the frustrations tougher and stronger. The real problems is that your leads, or the amount of leads you have, aren't broken. It's the foundation of your business that most likely is. You don't need more people. You need the right people on a better path that takes them from, hey, they've got something interesting, to I want to buy from them. I I've seen it time and time again. In fact, I've had clients exactly like this. I've had clients that have tiny lists, like 600 people-ish, and yet they were able to sell out $50,000 for the group coaching program over and over and over again. And I've had other clients with thousands, up to 15,000, honestly, people on their email list. And while they had some clients, they weren't able to consistently grow that income base. The difference really is who you're targeting and what you're saying to them. It's about clarity and simplicity and systems, in fact. Specifically, 3 pieces of your marketing and business. First, marketing that attracts the right people and converts them. Your marketing should inform your audience of who you are, what you do, who you serve, and why they want to work with you, so that when they get into your offer, they're ready for it, which means your offer also has to solve a real problem, and a problem that the audience that you're attracting needs solved. If your audience is if your offer is too nebulous, if it's too big and it solves too many problems, they're never going to buy because they don't know if you can solve the problem that they have. Sometimes if it's too narrow and you're bringing in this massive amount of people, not enough of them have the problem to solve. So there's this balance, if you will, of real problem, real solution. And then your offer is that bridge. And then the third piece is the sales process that feels natural and works. So often I see business owners creating things in their business that may or may not work. And while yes, testing is important when it comes to really growing and scaling your business, it is also about making a sales process feel natural to your people. Like, what's the next natural step to work with you? So let me break this down just a little bit more, because I think these 3 pieces are so incredibly important. Your message is the key. It is the foundation. It is the first thing people hear. So if your people don't see themselves in your content, in your emails, in your messaging, they're gonna scroll right past it, even if they need what you offer. Also, if your message, if your top of the funnel message, the one that's reaching people who don't know who you are or what you do, isn't speaking to the people who need your offer, but it is speaking to other people who maybe need a different offer, the top of the funnel messaging is broken. It doesn't attract the right people into your business. So some signs that your messaging may be off. If you keep getting people who can't afford you, if people say they love what they do, but they're not ready to buy, whether that's because they can afford or they're just not at that point yet where they need you. If you keep getting likes but no clients, or if people sign up for your lead magnet but don't take the next step, no matter what that step is, those are problems. And one or all of them might sound familiar. Most of my clients come to me with messaging that is vague and general or just plain unclear. And it's not because they're bad at what they do. Honestly, most of them are fantastic at what they do. It's because they're too close to it. It's because what they think their ideal clients need often isn't in that first step, because they've already gone through the process. You may or may not have heard this, but we attract who we are, which means usually most people are trying to help people who have been in the position that they were once in, so that they could help them. They understand the process. The problem really becomes is when we are so close to the issue and have been through it, sometimes we forget what that first step is. So if a stranger landed on your website, on your social media page, or on your lead magnet, would they know who you help, how you help them, and why it matters to them within 5 seconds? And honestly, if they're on your website, like, we have less the time than that. You're talking 2 to 3 seconds between before people bounce. If the answer is no, that's the first place we start. That's the first thing that we need to fix, your overall messaging strategy. The next piece is your offer. We want an irresistible offer that solves a real problem. Let's be brutally honest here. Is your offer more like a nice to have? Or is it a requirement for them to really live that happy, fulfilled life? Most people don't invest in things that are nice to have. They invest in a solution that solves a problem that is keeping them up at night. We want to make sure that our offer really does solve that problem. So here's how to stress test that. Is your problem urgent, painful, and specific? And I get that you may or may not know this. However, what you do know is your client struggling specifically with one thing that you solve? Is the outcome clear? And is it their dream come true? Do they really want it? Or would it be nice if they had it? And is the price in alignment with the results it provides, and also with the audience you're targeting? Pricing is a twofold thing. You're looking at value, and you're also looking at the audience that you're targeting. If you're targeting people who are maybe making 6 figures, you need to be priced at a different price point than if you're targeting people that are making 7 figures. There is massive amounts of differences in the pricing for those people. And yet, the problem could be similar. Here's a bonus question that I often ask my clients. Would you buy your offer if you were in your audience's shoes? Think back to when you were in their shoes, because like I said, most of us are fixing a problem we have already fixed for ourselves. Look back to that time. Would you have invested $500, $1,000, $5,000, $1 million, whatever your price point is? If you were in their spot at the same time, would you have invested in your offer? If your answer is maybe, or only if, or not right now, it is time to refine your offer. If you look at your pricing, and while I say this all the time, don't sell from your own pocket. On the other side of that, if you think back to when you were struggling with whatever your problems are, whatever your program solves as a problem, and you wouldn't have invested that amount because you didn't have the money, we need to step back and reassess who you're targeting and your offer pricing. There are so many layers when it comes to your offer, and sometimes we are just too close to it. It's why I have coaches in my own life. I often ask other people to assess what I have. Would they purchase that offer? If their answer is yes, I know I'm on the right track. If their answer is hell no, then obviously I've made a mistake. The same can be said for you. Reach out to people in your circle maybe that have that problem and ask them if it would be something that they would be interested in. You're simply gathering information. This is what helps you to clarify your marketing, your messaging, your offer, and your solution. The last piece is that we need a sales process that feels good and easy. So many entrepreneurs avoid selling because they have this mindset that it's gross or it's slimy or it's salesy or whatever that thought is. Here's what I want you to hear. Sales is a service. Sales is coaching someone into clarity. Sales is helping someone make a powerful decision. And if you are the best at what you do, it is essential that you help your audience get to the place that they need to go. And the only way to do that is to ask for the sale. If your energy shifts every time someone asks you, how much is it? That's not a pricing problem. That is a confidence and possibly a structure problem. That is you not being clear and confident about what you sell. You have to buy into the price as much as your audience does. If you can't buy into the pricing, then we have a mindset issue that we get to work on. If you don't firmly believe that your offer solves a solution and that you would invest in order to get that solution, or possibly have invested in order to get that solution, then the problem isn't necessarily the offer. The problem is what you think about the offer. So a healthy sales process really looks like clear steps from interest or introduction to conversion or commitment. It is easy and simple for them to get from that top of the funnel where they don't know who you are, what you do, or who you serve, to actually investing in you. It also is fully confident in the offer's value. You are confident in that what you provide is actually going to help someone get to the next level of whatever it is, whatever that solution is. And it also should have a way to handle objections with curiosity and not defensiveness. Honestly, most people's objections are time and money. That's the biggest ones out there. And if you are getting either of those objections, it's because you have not shown the value of your program well enough. Or, as I have had this happen personally and with other clients, you're attracting people who aren't ready for your services, whether that's financially ready or just ready in their life. So, when you're able to answer real objections, even the ones on time and money, in a way that helps them understand why this is good for them, why this is going to help them, and you're able to answer that before the objection comes up, it is much easier to convert someone who is curious and a looker into a buyer. When your sales process is dialed in, the whole thing feels like a conversation, not a pitch. I once had this conversation with one of my clients because he was very reluctant to sell. And it came down to something very simple. Just ask them how I can help you with that. Would you like to know how I can help you with that? Then you're not selling, you're asking, you're inviting them into your world. So, if just get more leads isn't the solution, what is? It's exactly what I just talked about. Audit these 3 areas right now. Your messaging. Is it clear who you help and how you help them and what you do for them? And is it attracting the right people into your ecosystem? Audit your offer. Is it solving a I'm going to die problem? Or is it just kind of like a minor itch that's just irritating them? Audit your sales process. Do you know how to turn interest into income without feeling sleazy? When you fix these 3 things, when you have a solid foundation, everything else flows easier. You stop chasing leads. You start attracting the right ones. You stop guessing what to post. You start creating content that actually converts. You stop feeling behind the 8 ball all the time, and you start gaining momentum. This, my friends, is how we build a sustainable, scalable, sane business, one that's not going to drive you crazy, and one that doesn't feel like constantly riding a roller coaster. So if you've been listening to this and thinking, why does this feel like she's talking directly to me? It's because I am. I've worked with hundreds of service-based entrepreneurs just like you, and I want you to hear this. It's not too late. You're not missing some secret sauce everyone else has. Your business is not broken. You're just trying to build a business with broken parts or bad advice, or frankly, no blueprint, or being just too close to the business itself. So, if this episode really hit you in the best possible way, it's the time to stop pouring into that leaky button, into that leaky bucket. This is exactly what I do in my Booked and Profitable Mastermind group. We rebuild your business from the inside out. We create messaging that attracts your ideal clients and offers that convert, and a sales process that works and feels good for you, so you can finally stop chasing leads and start building a business that brings them to you. DM me on Instagram at Virtual Marketing Experts, or head to yourmarketingmatchmaker.com and apply for a free strategy session. I promise you'll walk away with at least one actionable item to help you grow your business, increase your revenue, and scale your impact. That's it for today, my friends. This episode gave you the permission to skip the hustle and start getting really strategic. Do me a favor. Share it with your business bestie. Hit that subscribe button and come back next week as we dive into more strategic strategies for your business. Until then, market smarter, not harder. And just remember, you're not behind. You're just missing the right blueprint. Thank you for listening to the Marketing Matchmaker podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, I would love to hear your feedback. Please head over to Apple, iTunes, and leave a review so we can hear from you. And if you are a coach, consultant, or online course creator who are looking to grow your business, increase your income, and scale your impact, connect with me at yourmarketingmatchmaker.com. I look forward to hearing from you.